Hey guys, Drifter here. The Black Ops 6 beta just dropped. I just finished my first live stream, and I gotta tell you, it was an emotional roller coaster. So what you're gonna see today is some of my good gameplay, then live reactions from my first game, then some live reactions from my first game with Auto Mantle, because Black Ops 6 has an incredibly high skill gap. I was not expecting this. Call of Duty is usually a very easy game to play. It's very shoot and scoot, kind of brain dead. Rarely is it mechanically intense either, except for Black Ops 3, but I was gobsmacked by how difficult it was to play Black Ops 6 and how ridiculously high the skill gap is going to be in this game. So I'm going to try to break that down for a couple of reasons, and then we'll move into the live reactions later on in this video. So first of all, time to kill is incredibly fast. You die very quickly if your shots are on target, which we'll get to in a moment. You kill people very quickly, and there are attachments that increase headshot damage. So if you mix in headshot damage, you're deleting people. Sometimes it feels a little bit more like a Valorant or a Counter-Strike and a little bit less like a Call of Duty. Omnidirectional strafing adds a whole new level of complexity because your targets can strafe left and right. And for those of you that have played PC games like, say, Valorant or Apex or anything really twitchy, you kind of know this dance where you have to strafe and counter strafe and track back and forth. People don't usually do that a lot on console, and Call of Duty doesn't usually allow for that kind of movement, but in Black Ops 6 with Omni movement, you can not only sprint straight forward, you can sprint side to side, and with Gung Ho, you can keep your guns up and move side to side really, really fast. Same thing with backwards and dodging and diving and sliding and stuff like that. So hitting targets is actually rather difficult. It is not easy. I played on mouse and keyboard today. We'll talk about controller actually right now. Let's talk about controller right now, because it's very obvious to me that this game was designed for controller with aim assist, because playing on mouse and keyboard feels much more difficult than it should be and very unforgiving. It's incredibly difficult to track targets, you die quickly, but I noticed that players that have the joystick, which gives them a greater range of omni movement than I personally have, a little bit easier time working the crouch, slide, dump, jump, climb buttons, and easier tracking, especially with the aim assist as people move around. The aim assist does a lot of work for a lot of players. I watch people at the live reveal do this. On mouse and keyboard, it's actually very, very hard. The game is pretty unforgiving for escaping gunfire as well. It's not one where you can take a couple of hits and scoot back around a corner. There's a lot less of that. And in general, it's a very, very twitchy game. I, again, was not expecting this. I kind of expected a smooth, flowing, kind of slow-paced COD. This one was a little bit wild to me, and I think the wildest part is just the new Omni movement system. It has an incredible skill gap built into it. There's a lot of new and unique kind of movements that you can do in the game. I tried to do one of the ones from the trailer where you jump off the stairs and kill somebody like sideways on the way down, and I did that successfully, but I didn't know my range and accidentally threw myself out the window. Beyond all of that, there's corner peeking mechanics that I found somewhat interesting with sniper rifles and just general rifles. The way you slide around a corner is different. The way you tackle objectives is very different, and you can very rapidly reorient. It's a good thing. It's a thing that I typically like, but if something is going wrong with your movement, you can pretty hard back out and eject and go a different way very, very quickly. And again, I really believe that this was designed for controller. This was designed for controller with sticks, maybe some paddles, some nice aim assist to help keep you on track. Definitely a high sensitivity game. Mouse and keyboard feels like an afterthought. It takes a tremendous amount of button presses and difficult tracking to be competitive and be good at the game. You know me and my health problems. My hands are a little bit weak here, right? But I gotta tell you, it was more difficult for me to play Black Ops 6 than it was to play Splitgate or the Finals, which are known for being sort of wilder, more twitchy games. This is a fast game, and it's very hard to play on PC. However, and this is where the commentary takes a turn, once I enabled Auto Mantle, everything changed. Auto Mantle was a godsend for my gameplay. It just made everything so much better. I'm gonna recommend that on PC, maybe not for our console players. But I had a lot less button presses to fool with, a lot less things to think about. I could just basically sprint through the map like a maniac, which is the way I like to play the game, and focus mostly on my aiming. And for those of you that watched the stream, you probably saw that my last couple of games where I experimented with Auto Mantle yielded much better results than when I was just playing with the normal default settings. So I'm going to highly recommend Auto Mantle to PC players, probably for console players too. It simplifies the amount of things that your brain needs to do. And I do want to say that Auto Mantle isn't perfect. Sometimes it would like climb up on top of furniture or smaller things that I didn't really want to. Every now and then I did want to climb something and I approached it at a little bit of a funny angle and it didn't work. For the most part, the auto duck, auto crouch mechanic worked really well. And just in general, much better. Not perfect. Got some things they're going to need to tweak. Treyarch's going to have to work on it a little bit, but it just genuinely made the game a lot more fun for me, but there was still a lot of skill to improve upon. One other topic I want to talk about is performance. Now I'm talking about PC performance. If you're on Xbox and PlayStation, I realize that's not going to matter. My PC performance was not very good. I will be honest with you that I'm playing on a $700 little pre-built PC from Micro Center that I bought last year. It has a 3070 Ti in it, and at one point I was quad encoding, recording live with the webcam, the raw gameplay, and like double streaming and all this kind of stuff. So I was really burdening that single GPU. However, even after I scaled down to where I wasn't recording and it was just the stream itself, still extremely demanding on the GPU, and I got some weird lag you probably see in the video, and I don't know if that's servers and people coming online or my CPU or GPU being on life support, but I will say that it taxed my game much more than most, not my game, it taxed my system much more than most modern FPS games. Like if I get on to play Battlefield, if I play Delta Force, if I play, you know, Splitgate or something like Valorant or whatever, it doesn't have these performance issues, it doesn't chug, it doesn't crush my GPU, I can still encode on OBS. Little rough on PC, but it's in beta, and I admit, my PC's not the greatest, and I'm doing a lot with it. So let's move to the very last bit of commentary, my feelings. Feelings on this game is a complete emotional roller coaster, as I'm sure you can tell from my commentary here. I think past Drifter, Black Ops 3 level Drifter, the Drifter that likes these fast, twitchy games, would have loved this game. It's very complex, very twitchy, very demanding on reaction time, which is usually all the things I love in a game and advocate for here on the channel. Unfortunately, current Drifter is having a hard time keeping up. You know, with my limited and still slightly paralyzed hands and whatnot, very difficult to stay competitive with people that have never left Call of Duty and are like really sweaty. My first couple lobbies were very sweaty. I had to work my hands very hard. I had to sort of stretch my brain and relearn how to aim in this twitchy game. It was demanding of me. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to play a lot on this game because the physical tax on it is so incredibly high. I might go buy a controller this weekend and see if it's different, or like maybe I'll boot up, maybe I'll just plug in one of my old controllers instead of a new one and kind of see what's up. So absolutely weird feelings. This is something I should love and should recommend and be all on board for. I don't know if I'm man enough for Black Ops 6. I've got to think about this and think about if this is something that it's really worth the health risk for me to play, because I sweated. If you guys saw the stream, you can kind of see my behavior and demeanor here. It was sweaty. I had to stretch my brain and learn some things and kind of master skills quick. It was not easy. So the main takeaway from this video is that Black Ops 6 has an incredibly high skill gap, and you all have a lot to learn to get good. At this point, we're going to swap over to some of the live recordings from the stream. Some of them will have my webcam on, some of them will not. And it's generally just supposed to tell a story of my first game and my struggles and kind of trying to get a feel for what's going on. I get completely smashed, and then a little bit from later games after I've mastered some skills and turned on Auto Mantle, and you can see me playing a lot better and having a lot more fun. So the next bit is going to be a little bit rough, but it's sort of the average COD experience, and then the bit after that will be a lot more fun. This guy's got it. Jeez, this team seems like they're like all stacked together, like they know what's going on, and I'm just getting rolled here. I'm gonna get a feel for this. You guys just gotta give me a minute, okay? SMG not competitive with rifle at that ranges, as well it shouldn't be. Run, gotta run, gotta run, run, run. Get out of here, they'll come up top. I gotta work around. On spawn killing like it's 2012. Like, this reminds me of MSMC. This gun slaps. 100%. All right, guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.